Hey friends, welcome to 1 Minute with Monét. Balance doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen one intentional minute at a time. This podcast gives you the tools to make it happen. I'm your host, Monét, your favorite concierge and founder of Time Managed LLC. Join me each week for practical tips and real examples to help you manage your lifestyle with ease. Hey friends, I had the
Hey,
pleasure of interviewing my friend and dear sister, Tiffany Packer, today. This will be a joint interview because we are both co-hosting a trip to Egypt in 2027. So welcome, Tiffany. How are you today, girl?
thank you, thank you. I am well, I hope you are.
I'm doing really well, thank you. So
Happy
we have
Founder's Day.
been sisters for, I don't know, 28 plus years. You over
Long
here
time.
celebrating already? Almost 28 years. Like, we have been friends for a very long time. And I would like to say happy Founders Day to you. We are both
Happy
sorority
Founder's
sisters.
Day.
Like I said, we've been sisters way longer than we've been for way longer than we have been sorors. So happy Founders
Yes,
Day.
same, same. 113 on 113.
That's
Yes, I
right.
love it.
That's right. And we have the privilege of being part of the most active sorority that is out there. And we are
Yes.
very excited
Social
to
action is
be,
what we do.
that is just what we
Yes,
do. Excellence,
that's what we do.
serving
Yes,
the community for a very long time.
yes, yes,
And so I just think that today's conversation is appropriate because, part of our symbols represents the pyramid. The delta does mean change, but it's in the shape
yes,
of
that's
a
right.
pyramid, and we are going to Egypt.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I am so excited, aren't you?
I am too. Yes, I'm very excited. And I think one of the things I'm most excited about is having you join us. So you are a award-winning historian and department chair at Florida A&M University. So I want to take a minute just to honor you and to really give you your flowers today because this is not just an ordinary trip. We're not just two people who love to travel who are taking people to Egypt. This is a very intentional situation. So let's start out
Absolutely.
by just
We do
letting
love
the
to
people know who
travel.
you are.
It is definitely what sets us apart from the rest. Thank you for having me on today. Thank you for partnering with me with this Egypt trip. Something that, I had to manifest as soon as I heard about this eclipse that was coming in 2027 over the Nile in Luxor, which we can talk about in more detail in just a second. But who am I?
Mhm.
I am Dr. Tiffany Packer, as you said, and I currently serve as Associate Professor of History and Department Chair of History, Political Science, Geography, and African American Studies at FAMU. And I'm very proud to say that we are both, you and I, we are rattlers. And so, this is something that we take very, very personally, right? So when we talk about this
Absolutely.
trip to Egypt, I liken it to my time at FAMU, right? Like having come up through FAMU now as a graduate, and now I have the distinct privilege of being back on the hill, being intentional about the students that I shape because I know how FAMU shaped me. And so that's how I like to approach traveling as well. Yes, I love to do it. And traveling has shaped me so much as an individual, but I also like for it to be meaningful whenever we go places and certainly when we are leading people there. So Egypt will be no different.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
can't wait to get into more details about Egypt. I'm very excited. I know 2027 is going to be here before we know it, but I just wish it was tomorrow sometime.
I know, right? I know. I know. I
Sometime.
know. I
So
know.
let's talk about some of the trips we've already been on and the countries that we've traveled. We both have families, and I think we both do
Yeah.
a really good job of prioritizing travel and exploration, both with our families and on our own with our own friends or even solo travel. So, what are some of the places that you have been and that you like to go?
Well, I've been to several places throughout the Caribbean, which is always nice and relaxing and refreshing. But a couple of the trips that come to mind right off the top of my head is I had the distinct honor of going to Ghana with my family and it was just so amazing, life-changing. We also had an opportunity to go to Colombia about 3 years ago. My family and I went, and it was great. My husband and I were celebrating 10 years of, marriage at the time. My daughter had a birthday, she was turning 9, so we just turned it into a whole thing, and, again, that was about 3 years ago, and my kids still talk about that trip. So, those are a couple of the trips that come to mind right away. What about you?
So, like you, we have made family travel a priority, and it's so fun to see the world through the eyes of my children. So, one example, when we were in Ghana with Simone, we were going through a part of town where it's near the water, and I think there's a river, but they talked about just the trash and the things that are going into that space, and her eyes like lit up. And it was, oh my goodness, they live like this. What can I do to help? So it just helped her to see that we all don't have the privilege of living like we do here in the US, and not that, and I'm not painting a picture that Ghana is the entire country of Ghana is like this, but it just helped her to have a worldview and to then take action, right? So she has this
Sure.
information. Now what can I do to help? We also did a family trip to Italy, and I centered it around the pizza festival. So, Naples is the birthplace of pizza, and I thought it would be really fun to go to the pizza festival in Naples. And the pizza there is so delicious. And I love that they just ride with me. Ron wasn't with us, but we,
Yeah.
left Naples and had a layover because we were then gonna meet Ron in Portugal. So we had a layover in Nice. It was raining. The layover was long enough for us to leave the airport, take the train to take a picture in front of the I Love Nice sign, and I said, "You know what, y'all? We're gonna leave this airport. We're gonna get on the train. We're gonna do it." It was raining. We got there just
Yeah.
in time to take that one picture before the torrential downpour happened, and we ran into a restaurant and, like, had
Perfect.
had dinner, and so that memory is also top of mind because you gotta be flexible, and the rain didn't deter us, so you just gotta do what you gotta do, and I think those are things that they're gonna take with them for the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
Like
For
you, I've
sure.
been to the Caribbean. I think I have 2 more continents to knock off my list. So I haven't been to Australia or to Antarctica, but I have touched, all the other continents, and I'm very grateful to have had those opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that what you said about flexibility. That's so important when you're talking about international travel, because, hey, things may come up, they may arise, it may not go just like that, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's
You just
okay.
got
And that's a plug for our Egypt trip too, right? We have, like, the best laid plans. I think both you and I just enjoy having a plan and at least a itinerary of what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it. But you do have to be flexible because you don't know what you're gonna encounter when you get there. So we,
right.
as a disclaimer, like, we have the best intentions for doing things exactly how they're written, but it's best to travel in a group and just having that expectation that we might have to flex a little bit, and that's okay.
Yep. And we're
Yeah.
gonna be
So
okay
you
at the
mentioned
end of the day.
now you mentioned the eclipse, and that is what prompted
Mm.
this planning for Egypt. So why Egypt? Was it just the eclipse, or are there other things that you feel like the group would enjoy?
Well, I think Egypt is one of those places that should be on everyone's bucket list. It is the cradle of civilization. It is the area where the first of humankind was found in the eastern part of Africa. Of course, you have Somalia and Ethiopia as well, but Egypt was such a huge part of the development of how we understand humanity and civilization. And, I just think that we have so much to learn. And I think the history of Egypt alone can shape so many things, right? Like even if it's just understanding how Europe was shaped, how so many other parts of the world were shaped by being educated and schooled by Egyptians. I think that we all can see ourselves too when we go to
Mhm.
this particular part of the world, part of the continent specifically. And so then when I heard about this eclipse that happens, and depending on what type of eclipses you're talking about, sometimes it's once in a lifetime that we may
For
see
sure.
one, right? And so I'm like, who can say that they were able to see an eclipse in Egypt, the cradle of civilization, while going down the Nile? I mean, baby, sign me up, okay?
Sign me
Like, this
up.
was a brainer, okay? I'm in.
I know that's right.
So
Yes.
I figured many others would be in as well. So I was like, "Yeah, we gotta put this together."
We did, and the other thing about the eclipse is that you may only see a bit of it. So, specifically, why we are going all the way to Egypt is because it's on the path of totality. So,
Mhm.
I've seen solar eclipse before, but I've never been on that path of totality. And so on the
Okay.
day of the eclipse, we will be on our Nile cruise in Luxor, Egypt, and it is crossing directly over Luxor, Egypt. So that is what makes it very exciting. Because my dad asked, he said, "Why do I got to go all the way to Egypt to, to see the eclipse?" And I'm like, "Dad, let me break it down for you. Let me break it down."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and, I've been to Egypt before, and it was another reason, Monet, why I felt like we should, partner to bring others over because I don't know about you, but whenever I am planning trips, I like to take people places where I've been, so
Okay.
that I could feel some sort of familiarity already and do what I can to make them feel as comfortable as possible. And so, at least having being able to at least know a bit about navigating the space. So between the experience of going before and knowing what I was able to see and just how awe-inspiring it was, I'm like, oh my gosh, why not help lead others to this as well? And experience something very life-changing, like the totality. I'm glad that you brought that up of the eclipse for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you also brought up that it's somewhere you've been before because we've traveled together. And so one
We
of the
have.
things for our Ghana trip, so we went to Ghana in what, 2019 or
I think
18?
so. I think it was
So,
19.
and you had lived there before for an extended period of time. And
Yeah.
so traveling with you, although, one of our friends hosted us, uh,
Yeah.
the perspective that you brought to that trip, telling us about the good food, the red. I still to this day love that good food that you
Yeah.
recommended and also just giving your perspective of where you stayed and studied and where you interacted
Mhm.
during your time in Ghana just added so much richness to that particular trip. And
I'm
so I'm
glad.
really
Thank
looking forward to that same type of engagement from you in
Yes.
Egypt. And we had a ball in Ghana. I will never forget that trip.
I'm telling you, we really did. It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun and a lot of fun.
So fun.
And
Yeah.
this trip is family friendly. So, we've talked about traveling with our families and
Mhm.
also with our girlfriends. And
Yeah.
I do want to reiterate that this is family friendly. So I'm bringing my children, although my children are nearly adults. We won't get into that. So I don't want to cry because I'm almost empty nest. So I'm in transition at the moment, but my teenagers and young adults will be with us. But tell us about your family and the ages that you'll be bringing on the trip as well.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that this is family friendly. I get that question a lot. Like, what is this going to be geared towards? It's geared towards anybody. If you have a family that you want to bring them. If you want to come by yourself, come. We're going to take care of you too because we're all family at the end of the day. So
We
nobody
are
is
all
going
family.
to feel lonely or left out. I promise you that. We don't play that. I don't, and I know Monet does not either. We are all going to be together. So to answer your question, I have 3 children. My oldest is 15 and my middle child is 11 and my baby is 9. My baby actually elected not to go to Egypt. He preferred to stay home with grandmother, okay? She trumped us, okay? So
To
I
call him.
said,
I'm about to call him. I'm gonna call him. I'm offended. I'm a little offended.
I said the same thing. I'm like, "I don't wanna go to Egypt, but do your thing, do your thing." So, me and my husband, Jack, and our 2 daughters will be going. So I'm really looking forward to experiencing that. Malia, my oldest, she talks about this trip so much. Monet, she like you, she ready to go tomorrow.
That's my girl. That is my girl. So during our curation of this trip, we did keep that in mind. And most of my audience knows who I am, but for those who don't, I run a concierge service. So every day I am helping adults, busy adults, live life with balance and harmony. And we do that by making sure that they're finding balance in their lives, finding ways that they can outsource, but also operating in excellence. So that same excellence that we operate with our concierge clients, we operate that way with our travel clients and the trips that we host. That is important because that means that
Oh,
everything that is a part of this trip is very intentional. And it means that we love a level of excellence, and we're going to make sure that the people who come
absolutely.
with us are going to experience that level of excellence, whether it's premium services, luxury
Mhm.
experiences. So this is going to be a very top notch, 4 or 5
Absolutely.
star amenities and experiences. So that's the other part of this that makes our partnership as hosts of this trip very unique because you have the historian who not only lives from her own experiences, but brings those stories to life.
Mhm.
And, I have the privilege of knowing you for all this time and hearing how you present, and I've sat in on your classes. So I know the fire that you bring and the energy that you bring with your teachings. And so to travel with you and to experience this firsthand, I think is just gonna be beautiful, and I'm not just saying that because I want people to sign up, but it's honestly how you operate and how we are gonna make this trip amazing together.
I appreciate that, sis, and I'm glad to do this with you
Yeah.
as well because I know you don't play no games, baby. You got that business, so making this happen, making sure it's going to be right, on point. I'm
Mhm.
glad to that we have each other for that reinforcement. So this is gonna be pretty
Absolutely.
amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now speaking of business, you need to make sure you have your passports ready.
Yes.
All your documents in a row. I would recommend also looking into global entry. So if you are a US citizen, global entry allows you to bypass some of the long lines that you have when coming back home. So if you want to think about that now, the beauty about having global entry is that it also comes with TSA pre-check. So you don't only have to use global entry for your international travel. It does have that benefit to also have TSA PreCheck where you can use domestically as well. Are there any other documents that they should make sure that they have as we travel to Egypt?
So we just wanna make sure that we have our passport that has at least a 6-month lifespan on it, alright? So in other words, make sure that it won't be expiring no shorter than 6 months. And you do need a visa to go into Egypt, but the visa can be purchased upon arrival, and your visa price is already calculated in your cost, so you don't even have to worry about that part. I think it's like maybe $30 or something like that, but either way, don't worry about that. Me and Monet already have calculated that in, so once you arrive, we'll be able to just it's a very easy transaction that we'll worry about when we're there, and this is the other reason why Egypt was so attractive to me is because for Ghana, for example, which I love, but you of course have to have your passport, but you have to send off for your visa. Some people are uncomfortable sending it off to the embassy, which is fine. I've never had any issues, but you do have to do that and pay the cost for that. And then you have to get a yellow fever shot. And some people have to worry about malaria medication. And sometimes I think that that can just bring fatigue when trying to travel to places in West Africa. But for Egypt, you don't have to worry about any of that. Just have your passport and we'll get the visa upon arrival. And that's it.
All
That's
right,
it.
easy. It sounds really
Yeah.
easy.
Mhm.
Let's see. So I have a surprise for you.
No, you don't. No, you don't. What you got, girl? What
So I realize that there may be some concerns around the risk. Is it safe to travel? Under the
Mhm.
administration that we're currently under, there are some things happening. We wake up to different news every day. And so
Day.
with that, I have partnered with a risk management company which is owned by a longtime friend of mine who is an executive risk management officer. And so our itinerary is under review by this risk management company, and they have
Girl,
people on
you
the
the boss. See
ground
what
in
I'm
various
saying?
countries throughout the
See what I'm
world
saying?
who are
Ready. Don't play no game.
ready. We don't play no games. This is a surprise to Tiffany because she doesn't know about this, but I've been working
It is.
on passing along our itinerary, the hotels that we'll be staying in, as well as our tour guide so that they can provide us with on the ground security measures, up to date information about the state of that country at the time that we're traveling. And this is more
Oh,
extensive than what you can see with the State Department. Because sometimes when you travel, they tell you to register with the State Department and they'll give you alerts, just general alerts. Is it, you know, red, yellow, green, or orange, or whatever the levels of alerts are? This is going to go a little bit deeper. And so we can ease the
absolutely.
fears and um, of our customers, those who are traveling with us, and really know that we have eyes on the ground and line of sight to the areas that we'll be in and what might be going on in that current climate in 2027. So we've got you covered when it comes to safety.
I love that. Thank you for that. Because Monet knows about this with me. Like, you know how every adult, every no, well, you didn't even have to be an adult. Every person has a thing that like is their thing, their thing. What is your thing? Your pet peeve or your whatever. Like my thing is I like to feel secure. Like, don't make me feel like you don't got me, okay?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't make me feel like no, when I go into a space and when I'm talking to somebody or I'm working with somebody, I need to feel like you got me. And so that makes me feel like you got me. I
I got
appreciate
you.
that.
I got you. Yes.
I never had any doubt. Never had any doubt.
Amazing. So yeah,
I
we operate with excellence, excellence and no less. So that's what we got,
yes.
and that's what we promise.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
promise you excellence. We're
And
gonna
that's
play a
that.
little game, but before we do, I just wanna take a moment to let everyone know if you want to get more information about our trip, I will post it here. Today is January 13th, but on January 15th, that will be the last day for you to put your deposit down for our 18-month payment plan. And we will continue other payment plans for other durations after January 15th, but get in early so that you can, create a payment plan that works for
Yeah,
you and your budget. But
exactly.
at this moment in time, it is very inexpensive to join us. If you have any
Yeah.
questions, feel free to reach out. The website is yourtravelmaven.com, and you can see our hero image that does have the link to the itinerary as well as the payment information. We didn't really talk about the itinerary. Let's do that for a second before we get into our game. So we're gonna fly into Cairo, spend a couple 1 or 2 nights there, have a small like Nile River dinner cruise on that side of the Nile.
Yes.
Then we're going
Yes.
then we're gonna travel to Luxor, right? Um,
Absolutely. Luxor is my favorite.
is it? Go ahead, tell us about it.
Luxor is my favorite, but let me tell you what we are going to experience together, which I did not get to do, and I'm most excited about this.
Okay.
We are going to Aswan. Aswan is where all of the Black people are. So it is like all the Egyptians are amazing, right?
Mhm.
But it's like when you go to Aswan, you actually get to see, for those of us who are gonna be traveling that are Black, we will get to actually see those who look like us, and I did not get to make it to Aswan last time, and so I wanted to make sure that we put it on the agenda this time. So I am so excited about that. But Luxor is probably my favorite.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna I can't wait. Like that just makes my heart so happy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go through the site right now and just really quickly go through. So we arrive. We'll see the pyramids there in Giza. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Then we'll go to Alexandria, which will be a day trip. Aswan, which you just
Mm,
mentioned, and have our Nile cruise. On the cruise, we'll go to uh, Kamambo and Edfu. Hopefully, I'm not
mhm,
butchering any of these names.
mhm,
And then that's when
mhm.
we'll arrive in Luxor and have that's the eclipse day.
Yes.
Then we'll go to Hurghada. Hurghada, I'm looking forward to because I'm a water girl. So Hurghada
Baby,
is on the coast.
never been
We'll
to
be at a
Ghana.
beach
I'm ready for
resort.
her daughter. Yes,
And
I'm
the
ready
Red
for her
Sea,
daughter.
that's the Red Sea, right? Yes, the Red Sea resort. So we're gonna be at a resort in Hurghada.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. The pictures are so
yes,
amazing,
they really are.
and I think that'll be a nice, like, downtime for us there so we can relax at the resort. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll have a couple beach days, and then we'll get back to Cairo, and if you forgot to do something, forgot to buy something while you were there, you'll have a little bit of time to go back and do that, experience a little bit of nightlife in Cairo. And then unfortunately, you gotta go back home. So we got we got we got you for about 9 days.
Right.
We're gonna send you home on August 7th. So our experience is, going
Oh,
to last from
God.
July 29th through August 7th, 2027. And we hope that
Let's
you
it
all
up.
will come with us to experience the black sun over the Nile.
Oh,
Ooh,
girl.
I'm ready. I know
Yes,
you're
I'm like,
ready.
"We not ready today. Let's go."
Let's go. Let's go. So,
Yes.
you got
Okay, so
something
my
for
task
us.
for you is I have a little fun game, and I want you to tell me what you think. It is called This or That,
Okay,
the Egypt edition.
let's go.
Okay, Egyptian edition. Okay, so would you rather this or that? Find an ancient artifact while we're there or a secret passage? Mm.
I would say an ancient artifact. I love art, so that makes me
Okay.
feel like I'm getting something really special that I can keep and display
Girl, you gonna
in
put
my
it in your
home.
luggage, right?
If I'm allowed, I'm sure they have some rules about what you can take from what you find.
I'm like, "No, baby, bring that bag, okay?"
I'll take a picture with
Which,
it and frame the picture.
this yes, very good. So that is not too far-fetched because when I was there, when Jack and I were there a couple of years ago, there were still people out there digging and stuff, like
Yeah.
looking for artifacts. So it's still a very active place where, they're still looking for, history to be found. And so, hey, it's not too far-fetched of an
Yeah.
idea. Could happen that you might come across something.
Okay, okay.
Alright, so if you had it your way, would you want to live in a pyramid or would you like to live in a Nile side villa, getting a breeze off the water? What you thinking?
I'm a water girl all day, so I would say the Nile side villa for sure.
Yeah,
And I've watched a lot
okay, I
of
would be
this
worried
might
about
be it.
flooding.
Huh?
I'd be worried about flooding. What if
Really? Do
floods?
they have lots of floods in Egypt?
I don't know. I know it.
So, okay, you're gonna laugh at this, but I watch a lot of Indiana Jones, and so it always seems like they're running from something in a pyramid or some secret passage, and
Right,
they get stuck, and there's bugs, and there's mummies coming alive, and all these things. So I'm like, I need something more relaxing.
right. You're not trying to be stressed, okay?
No stress,
I hear
child. No
you. Okay, that's
stress.
good, that's good. What about would you rather ride a camel across the desert, which we'll be able to do, by the way, ride a camel, or just take you a nice sail down the Nile? Well, I feel like I know what you're gonna say to this already. You wanna
I
take a
know,
nice
it's the
sail?
water for me. It's the sailing and relaxing on the water, and I rode a camel in Morocco, so I've done that. I've checked it off the list. I
Okay,
don't need to do it again, but I will do it because it's on
okay.
our itinerary, but I don't I'm good. I'm
Right.
good.
Yes, yes. Well, we had to ride the camel in front of the pyramid, do our pyramid delta sign. We gotta get our that's the other thing about the D9. Alphas, come get your Sphinx picture. Okay.
Come on, alphas.
Deltas, come get your pyramid picture. Okay.
Let's
And,
go,
the
Taurus.
others, y'all come on too. So, AKAs, y'all come on too, since, you make it clear you're the first. This will be like the first of humanity. That's where we are civilization. So, hey, it fits. It works, right? It fits. It works. Yes. So, okay, this one might be a little bit more difficult. Okay. All right. So I took some staple snacks from Egypt that people love in the area.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to either or that. Would you rather eat bread and onions or dates and figs?
I have a question. Are the
First
onions I know, leave it to me
moment,
to make this more complicated than it has to
clarification.
be. So, are the onions baked into the bread, or are these raw onions or pickled
Raw.
onions? Okay, no, the
Raw
dates
or
and the
pickled?
figs.
Raw or
If
pickled?
they're pickled, I actually might do if they're pickled, I could do the pickled onions and the bread. What's your favorite?
Okay. See, I like onions. I like onions. And of course, I love bread. Okay.
Yep,
But I can rock with a fig. Dates, that's what's throwing me off. I don't know. I don't
but
know.
it's sweet,
Some
right?
is
So it's a sweet it sounds like a sweet treat.
yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't mind a sweet treat. I'd probably get down with both of them, but, I'm thinking about the savory, the flavors in the bread and the onions.
Right.
I also like onions, but it depends how they're cooked. I won't eat raw onions unless it's on a
Mhm.
hamburger. Everything else has to
Okay.
be either pickled or
I hear you.
sautéed or something. I need cooked onions.
Okay. 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 I got you. My husband hates onions. And so I always, ask him, like, you plan on kissing? Because I'm about to go off on these onions if not. Okay.
Poor Jack.
I know.
Jack. Too funny, too funny. Well, this has been so fun. I appreciate your
So fun.
time.
Yes, likewise. Likewise. I know we are both so very busy, but I'm so glad that we were able to carve out some time because this was so necessary.
Absolutely. And this won't be the last time. So, we have about 18 months before our trip happens. So I think, we owe it
Mhm.
to our audience and to the people who are traveling with us to give them more details and
Yes.
to have more Q&A. So that is coming. But just make sure today, if you want that 18-month payment plan, that you sign up by the 15th.
Business,
And
right.
one last shout out to all my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta. Have a wonderful Founders Day. I love you, girl.
Yes, I love you too, girl. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. That was great. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation on social media at 1 Minute with Monét on all channels. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until next time, be well.